see you. Thanks for coming in so we can talk a little bit about Kalista and the progress that she's been making so far this year. Um, just to start out, I just wanted to say how happy I am that she is in my class. She is an amazing student, and I'm sure you guys already know this, but she loves to learn and watch her own progress that she's made over the year. And I love how confident she is in her learning. And even if there's something that she's struggling with, she still knows that she can she can do it. And so she's very self-motivated in that way. And so it's so fun to see all the progress that she's made this year. I also just wanted to let you guys know that how proud I am of just the person she is in our class. She's one of the kindest kids that we have in class, and she's always willing to help those around her and make others smile, and they need it. And so, thank you for um, all that you're doing with her. Today, I just kind of wanted to focus on her progress that she's made relating to reading. Um, so, at the start of the year, we, well, since the start of the year, we've been helping her learn how to blend and segment words, and she is doing great with that. I'm sure you already know, but now she blends and segments words very well, and she can manipulate the sounds within words. So basically, what that means is that if I were to give her a word like top and tell her that I wanted to change it to tap, she could identify what sound changed and what sound needed to replace the sound. Um, so she generally is reading sound by sound, and then she will blend the sounds together to form words. It's kind of where we're at in her reading right now. And then she kind of does the same thing with sentences. So she'll sound out the sounds in each word and then blend them together and to read. Um, so with that, there are a couple of things I just wanted to make you aware of with her reading that I'm sure you already are aware of just by hearing her read that we want to start just zoning in on and helping her with. So the first thing that I've noticed just by listening to her read is that, and asking her to read words and identify different sounds, is that she sometimes struggles to distinguish between the letter names and the letter sounds. And so that's an important thing to be aware of because we want Kalista to be able to know exactly what the letter sounds are and what the letter names are. Because if she can recognize the difference between sounds and letter names, then it's going to help her be able to start reading even faster and more automatically because she can recognize that difference in them. And then another thing that we've been working on and that I've really noticed and that I'm wanting to help Kalista with is that in like I said before, when she reads words, she stops to sound out every letter and then she'll read the entire word. So if she had the word cat, for example, she'd read it at cat, like that. And what we want to help her do is to be able to recognize those words as a whole instead of individual sounds so that she can start to read them more fluently. Um, so there are a few things that I've been working on her with in class and that I'd like you to help me with at home to help her improve in these areas because as soon as she can um, improve in these areas, she's going to take off and just be reading all sorts of stuff. And so the first thing that um, we've really been focusing on with Kalista is learning how to blend words in her head and then only speak the full word. So what we'll do is we'll give her some words like dog, for example, and instead of her saying dog all out loud, we've been trying to get her to read the sounds in her mind, and then when she's ready and she knows the word, to say the whole word out loud. And so when she is taking her take home books home, I want to ask you if you will have her do the same thing at home. So listen, if she's just pronouncing the sounds and then the word, stop her and remind her to think about the words in her head and then just say the word out loud. And as she does that, she really does start to read more fluently. And then we also want to just help her have a better understanding of letter names versus letter sounds, like I was saying. So if you're at home and or in the car or something, if you'll just give her a letter or show her a letter and then ask her what the sound is, and if she replies with the name, then help her to know that okay, that's the name, but what's the sound it makes, just so she can start to distinguish between, oh yeah, that's a sound, or oh yeah, that's the letter name. And we'll keep working on that with her here at school too, but that is something that would be very beneficial if you could kind of take over and do at home because she knows the sounds perfectly, but she just isn't quite sure about the distinction between the letter names and those sounds. And then one more thing that we're doing here already is each week we give them a list of high frequency words, so words that they see a lot in their reading, and we practice recognizing them and practice spelling them. And this is super important for Callista because where she's taking time to stop and sound out every word, every letter of a word, um, high frequency words are super helpful because then she can start to just recognize the words as a whole and not have to stop and sound those ones out. And so I'll send a list home with you of those high frequency words each week. And if you'll just practice um, using them with her at home, showing her the word and then asking her what it is, and trying to help her recognize those and know them without having to sound them out. And then, other than that, she has improved super well in knowing all the letter sounds. We went over the short vowel sounds the other day, and she knew them all perfectly. So I'm not worried about that at all. She knows sounds perfectly and uses those sounds to blend and create words. And so she has no problem with that. We just want to now bump her up a step so that she is not taking so much time to sound the words out, but that she can start to automatically recognize them or sound them out in her head and then say the complete words. And that's really where we're at with Callista right now. Um, and then yeah, she is a super determined learner, and we were practicing with this whole saying the sounds in your head and then saying the word out loud, and you should have seen how fast she was reading that book. It was insane. So she really does know how to do this and she can do this. She just sometimes needs the prompting to remember not to sound them out loud. Um, And then here in school, we're going to keep working with her on word manipulation, so giving her different words and asking her to remove sounds or change sounds to create other words, and that'll kind of help her develop this phonemic awareness to where she does know what the sounds are as compared to the letters and can create different words to go along with them. So we'll keep working um, with her on that here at school, and then also with some word identification strategies to help her start to recognize more words just automatically so she doesn't have to spend the time sounding them out. And so we'll work on identifying words that have the same ending. So words like ball ends with ALL. So if she can recognize ball, then that will help her to recognize the words small and tall, words like that. So just giving her little clues to word patterns that she can use to recognize all sorts of different words. And then one last thing, if you'll just practice reading with her at home every day, that's going to be something that really, really helps her to be able to just start to read fluently and without having to pause and sound out um, words one by one. Because, like I said, she really does know how to do that and she can do that. She just needs that extra step to push her away from feeling like she needs to stop and sound out every letter because she doesn't. But sometimes it can be hard to make that transition from knowing, oh, I need to sound out the word to know I already know this word and I can just say it. Um, but yeah, that's about all I have today. So just a reminder to read with her at home every day. And if you notice that she's starting to sound out the sounds in a word, to just remind her and say, make sure you sound out the letters in your head. And then when you're ready to say the word out loud, you say it out loud. And then once she has read the sentence on the page for the book, you can have her reread it again until she's reading it like she would say it. And that will help her to be able to understand, okay, I need to read these words as a whole and all together so that they make sense instead of pausing to look at each letter and just sound out the sounds. Um, and then I'll send home those high frequency words with you each week so you can practice with her recognizing them and using them, and then we'll keep doing the things we're doing at school. And I think before we know it, she's going to be reading at grade level, if not way above grade level. She is such a determined student, and we have seen so much progress in her since the beginning of the year. So I'm super excited to watch her continue to read and grow and learn. Thanks for coming in.